right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Seclusion rooms. The I-Team has uncovered how they're used to discipline Missouri students. Tonight, the calls to expel them from schools.
Weather first, Doppler radar shows showers heading our way tonight. Why this round of rain is not a concern for Tuesday morning's rush hour.
Our top story, 2 men dead after separate encounters with police in St. Charles County. Tonight, new details on what led officers to open fire.
I'm sure they were left with no alternative.
Those 2 shootings happened within miles and hours of each other. In both cases, police say the men were armed. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. We start tonight with new details into the deadly shooting that rattled a typically quiet Lake St. Louis neighborhood. It happened last night on Fox Bridge Court. Our Robert Townsend joins us now from our newsroom with new information from police. Robert.
Mike, tonight I talked to the police chief for the Lake St. Louis Police Department about the shooting that involved several of his officers and 1 man. On Monday, Boulevard Park in Lake St. Louis was once again typically quiet, but Sunday morning officers went there after a couple of callers reported a man fired at least 8 gunshots into the ground at the St. Charles County Park. Chief Chris D. Giuseppe says by the time officers arrived, the suspect, 27-year-old Wesley Ingram, was gone.
And they located some shell casings up there and subsequently throughout the day continued to investigate.
Hours later, police used surveillance video and tracked Ingram down at his home on Fox Bridge Court.
We located him on a porch. The subject came out of the residence with 2 handguns. Had one tucked in his belt.
Officers tried to disarm the man.
As officers approached him, he reached for one of the handguns. A struggle ensued.
The chief says officers tased Ingram, but he kept fighting with officers and waving a gun at them.
He continued to attempt to point the handguns at officers. One of our officers fired. He was wounded.
Police rendered aid to Ingram in an ambulance, but he later died at a hospital. A police officer who has 12 years experience with the Lake St. Louis Police Department suffered a minor hand injury. The officer was treated and released from the hospital. Police say the suspect lived at the home with his mother. They also say 2 bullets he fired hit the walls of the porch.
We believe the subject suffers from some mental illness, and I believe that we've had other contacts with him.
The officer who shot the man is now on routine paid administrative leave. Now, the St. Charles County Regional Critical Incident Response Team is now investigating the shooting. Lake St. Louis Police will also conduct an internal investigation.
And just hours before in O'Fallon, Missouri, an officer-involved shootout left a gunman dead. Today, police identified 34-year-old Douglas Allen Phipps as the suspect who fired shots at O'Fallon City Hall's clock tower. That led to a chase that ended in a nearby neighborhood. Neighbors in the Royal Oaks subdivision tell us they heard at least 8 to 15 gunshots. A mother says she was outside with her kids putting up Christmas lights when she saw what was happening.
My kids were out here, so I told them, I said, go inside, lock the doors because it's a dead-end street. If anything happens, he's going to possibly flee on foot.
Police say Phipps was carrying a shotgun and pointed it at officers. No officers were hurt in the exchange of gunfire. That incident is still under investigation.
Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating the death of a 2-year-old boy as a homicide. The child died Friday, about 45 minutes after he was brought to SSM Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Police say the boy was unresponsive and had bruising to his stomach. His cause of death was ruled as blunt force trauma. Police have not shared the circumstances behind the boy's injuries, but they are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. It's an anonymous tip line, 866-371-TIPS.
Well, a chilly night across St. Louis. There's another chance of rain overnight, so let's get the latest now from Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
Well, pretty confident, Mike, we won't wake up to the sound of rumbling thunder during the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning. This is a quick hitting system. Many of us won't even see a drop of rain out of it, but the Weather First Doppler radar is showing some rain right now to our north. Not all of it is reaching the ground, but some of it certainly is. Better chances as you go north of Bowling Green here. Once you get back into mid-Missouri, as we get along Interstate 70, the chances tend to be drying out, a little bit of drier air. in the upper levels of the atmosphere that this thing's fighting. It's a quick mover here, so this is not going to be something that lingers right into tomorrow morning's rush hour. It's still 42 in St. Louis, well above freezing. Winds out of the south at 6. That'll change as the system passes through, and the winds will swing around to the northwest tomorrow, get gusty, and reinforce the cool air. This is a fast-moving system tonight. It's just a quick hit of rain showers for some, not everybody, and then dry Wednesday through Thursday, turning warmer, and then we get into an unsettled weekend. More on that in a few minutes, Kelly.
All right, Scott. Just 2 hours ago, water service was restored along Belleville's Main Street after a water main break this morning, but a boil order is in place. New tonight, Laura Barcheski talked with several impacted businesses.
This morning, Circa boutique owner Andrea Powell got an unexpected call from a coworker just before lunch.
And she was like, I don't even know how to say this, but I think the store is gonna flood. And I was like, what?
Water was gushing up through the pavement, turning Main Street into a river. Luckily, it didn't make it inside the store, but they had to close for the day after the power went out.
We can wash our hands and do things, you know, a couple doors down. That's not really a problem. But as far as power, that's a bummer. Nobody wants to try on clothes when it's like 45 degrees in a shop.
Luckily, the power is back on and the community has been very supportive of affected businesses with the holiday season in full swing.
Shutting down, we don't take that lightly for the day, even if it's for a few hours. We do have an online store.
Crews here on Main Street who are repairing the water main break say because of that, they're concerned about how stable the sidewalk is as well as the street and want people to avoid the area as much as possible until it's fixed. Those who are headed to businesses like Benny's Pizza Pub will have to find their way around the block. The owner says they jumped into action just in time.
We shut off any equipment that handles tap water, so there would be no contamination in those that machinery. And then we got fresh water bottles, soda cans, things like that.
Unfortunately, this might not be the last time people in the area have to go through this.
And I know our infrastructure on these streets with these old pipes are in pretty bad shape, so it is a matter of time before we have more.
Reporting in Belleville, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Illinois American Water says affected customers need to boil any water used for cooking or drinking, bringing it to a full roiling boil before using it.
Breaking tonight in Arlington, Virginia, where a home exploded after police say a man inside fired a flare gun. Officers were trying to execute a search warrant at the time. Right now, that man has not been located. Firefighters are still trying to put the fire out. No officers, we're told, were seriously hurt.
Tonight, the SIU Carbondale campus is mourning 2 students killed in a head-on crash. The young men were only 18 and 19 years old. The crash happened just before 8 this morning, about a mile from campus. The other driver suffered serious injuries. Both students were from the Chicago area studying automotive technology.
Tonight, a Missouri lawmaker wants to ban a controversial discipline tactic used in some schools.
Our I-team has investigated the use of seclusion rooms for years. Last year, Missouri students were sent to these rooms 8,000 times. And now a state representative tells Christine Byers it's time for them to be stopped.
10 states in the U.S., including Illinois, ban seclusion rooms in schools. State Representative Ian Mackey wants to make Missouri the 11th. The bill he filed Friday would stop the use of seclusion rooms in public or charter schools. In these small closet-sized rooms, students are placed in solitary confinement as a form of punishment. The IF team found 530 students have been put in one of these rooms at least once in 166 districts in Missouri this school year alone. The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education says seclusion and restraint should be limited, only used when a student's behavior represents a serious threat. The ACLU says nationwide, roughly 80% of students who were secluded had disabilities. Mackey filed a bill in 2021 which limited the use of seclusion rooms and required districts to report their use. Now he says it's time to ban them altogether because it doesn't fix behavioral problems in students.
It makes the problem worse. We see it happen on a repeat basis, the same kids over and over and over going through this because this is not a way to deal This is not a way for an adult to solicit the behavior they're looking for.
And is there any research at all that's been done about the effects of these rooms?
Children have been severely injured because of this, children who've been diagnosed with PTSD as a result of this, children who've been forced out of their school district because of this.
The U.S. Department of Education says restraint or seclusion should never be used as punishment or discipline. Mackey says he hopes his bill moves forward quickly when the legislative session begins in January. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
And to see our previous coverage on seclusion rooms, go to ksdk.com. If you have a tip for Christine and the 5 on your side I-Team, you can leave a voice message. The number's 314-444-5231, or you can also email Christine. It's tips@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Tonight, Mizzou fans are trying to get their hands on a golden ticket, seats to the Cotton Bowl. The university allotment of tickets sold out less than 24 hours after learning the Tigers would be playing Ohio State in one of the New Year's 6 bowl games. A large contingent of fans are planning a trip to Texas to cheer on the black and gold.
The Alumni Association is really all kind of about the fan events and activities that go on. So everything from maybe a bowl tour, which we have, to all the events like tailgates and maybe pep rallies that happen at the bowl site.
500 student tickets will be made available tomorrow at 9 a.m. Tickets are also available through Ticketmaster and StubHub.